Dear little swallow, you tell me of marvelous things, but more marvelous than anything is the suffering of men and of women. There is no mystery so great as misery. Fly over my city, little swallow, and tell me what you see there. So the swallow flew over the great city and saw the rich making merry in their beautiful houses, while the beggars were sitting at the gates. He flew into dark lanes and saw the white faces of starving children looking out listlessly at the black streets. Under the archway of a bridge, two little boys were lying in one another's arms to try and keep themselves warm. "How hungry we are, you must not lie here." And they wandered out into the rain. Then he flew back and told the prince what he had seen. "I am covered with fine gold, you must take it off, leaf by leaf, and give it to my poor. The living always think that gold can make them happy." Leaf after leaf of the fine gold the swallow picked off, till the happy prince looked quite dull and grey. Leaf after leaf of the fine gold he brought to the poor, and the children's faces grew rosier, and they laughed and played games in the street. "We have bread now." Then the snow came, and after the snow came the frost. The streets looked as if they were made of silver. They were so bright and glistening. Long icicles like crystal daggers hung down from the eaves of the houses. Everybody went about in furs, and the little boys wore scarlet caps and skated on the ice. The poor little swallow grew colder and colder, but he would not leave the prince. He loved him too well. He picked up crumbs outside the baker's door when the baker was not looking, and tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. But at last he knew that he was going to die. He had just strength to fly up to the prince's shoulder once more. "Swallow, goodbye, dear prince. Will you let me kiss your hand, happy prince? I am glad that you are going to Egypt at last, little swallow. You have stayed too long here, but you must kiss me on the lips, for I love you. Swallow, it is not to Egypt that I am going to the house of death. Death is the brother of sleep, is he not?" And he kissed the happy prince on the lips and fell down dead at his feet. At that moment, a curious crack sounded inside the statue, as if something had broken. The fact is that the leaden heart had snapped right in two. It certainly was a dreadfully hard frost. Early the next morning, the mayor was walking in the square below, in company with the town councillors. As they passed the column, he looked up at the statue. "Mayor, dear me, how shabby the happy prince looks. Town councillors, how shabby indeed." And they went up to look at it. "Mayor, the ruby has fallen out of his sword, his eyes are gone, and he is golden no longer. In fact, he is little better than a beggar. Town councillors, little better than a beggar. Mayor, and there is actually a dead bird at his feet. We must really issue a proclamation that birds are not to be allowed to die here." And the town clerk made a note of the suggestion, so they pulled down the statue of the happy prince. Art professor. As he is no longer beautiful, he is no longer useful. Then they melted the statue in a furnace, and the mayor held a meeting of the corporation to decide what was to be done with the metal. "Mayor, we must have another statue, of course, and it shall be a statue of myself. Town councillors of myself," and they quarrelled. When I last heard of them, they were quarrelling still. "Overseer, what a strange thing. This broken lead heart will not melt in the furnace. We must throw it away." So they threw it on a dust heap where the dead swallow was also lying. "God, bring me the two most precious things in the city." And the angel brought him the leaden heart and the dead bird. "God, you have rightly chosen. For in my garden of paradise this little bird shall sing forevermore, and in my city of gold the happy prince shall praise me."